Imam Muhammad Ghazali, one of the greatest philosophers, jurists, and mystics in Islamic history, was born in the 5th century AH in the city of Tus. With his unparalleled brilliance, he built a unique bridge between reason and faith, leaving a profound impact on Islamic philosophy, theology, jurisprudence, and mysticism. Al-Ghazali, also known as Hujjat al-Islam, the proof of Islam, transformed Islamic thought through timeless works, such as the Incoherence of the Philosophers and the revival of the religious sciences. He was not only a theoretical scholar, but also gave new meaning to religious life through mystical experiences and an inner search for truth. Ghazali's life and works continue to inspire millions around the world, and his messages about doubt, the pursuit of truth, and the connection between mind and heart remain deeply meaningful and enlightening even today. In the heart of the Middle Ages, in the city of Tus in Khorasan in the year 445 AH, a baby was born and named Muhammad. The world would later know him as al-Ghazali. This child's remarkable life and extraordinary intellectual journey would make him one of the greatest thinkers and philosophers of Iran and Islam. Life during Ghazali was full of both challenges and opportunities. The Khorasan region was a vibrant center of Persian Islamic knowledge and culture, yet it was also a place of intense rivalry among sects and ideologies. Muhammad Ghazali grew up in this environment, where religious and philosophical debates were part of daily life in markets and mosques. Ghazali's family belonged to the middle class, and from a young age, Muhammad showed a deep interest in religious sciences and philosophy. As a child, he mastered the Quran and Hadith, astonishing his teachers. But he was not merely a good memorizer. He was a seeker of truth, someone who looked beyond appearances. In his teenage years, Muhammad went to Nishapur, where he was admitted into prominent Islamic schools. There, under the guidance of renowned scholars, he studied jurisprudence, theology, and philosophy. Yet something stirred within him. Doubts and questions that challenged him and led him in search of deeper answers. One of Ghazali's most remarkable qualities during that time was his unique ability to blend knowledge with mysticism. He understood that reason alone could not unlock all the secrets of existence. One must also draw from the heart and mystical experiences. Still, life was not easy for him. He faced opposition from some philosophers and scholars of his time who believed that philosophy should not encroach upon the domain of religion. But with iron will and an open mind, Ghazali stayed the course. Part 1 of Imam Muhammad Ghazali's biography comes to a close, but we are only approaching the beginning of his remarkable journey. We'll enter his youth, a time when he made bold decisions and underwent profound transformations that changed not only his life, but the entire Islamic world. After years of study in the major schools of Khorasan and Baghdad, Muhammad Ghazali quickly rose to become one of the most prominent scholars of his time. His brilliance was recognized by all. But this fame marked the beginning of a new journey, one that was not just intellectual, but spiritual and mystical. In Baghdad, the intellectual hub of the Islamic world at the time, Ghazali began teaching jurisprudence and theology at the Nizamiya school. The Nizamiya school was the most prestigious institution of higher learning in the Islamic world, attracting scholars and students from across the globe. But this position wasn't enough for Ghazali. He wanted more than just knowledge. By studying the philosophical works of ancient Greece, especially Plato and Aristotle, as well as the ideas of Islamic philosophers like Farabi and Avicenna, Ghazali encountered a whole new world. This world, filled with doubt and reasoning, awakened questions in his heart that led him to doubt his previous beliefs. But what truly led his life into deep challenge was not just philosophical questions, but a profound spiritual and inner crisis. Ghazali felt that in the realm of pure reason and logic, he could not attain peace or absolute truth. He was caught in a painful duality: reason and faith, philosophy and religion, doubt and certainty. This crisis drove Ghazali to abruptly resign from all his academic and scholarly positions. He abandoned everything and retreated to mountains and deserts, seeking truth in solitude and silence. This decision caused great astonishment among the academic circles of the time. How could a man at the height of fame and authority suddenly give it all up? In that long solitude, Ghazali devoted himself to reflection and meditation. He turned to mysticism and inner experiences in search of genuine answers. This period became one of the most important and influential phases of his life, reflected later in works like the revival of the religious sciences. After years of seclusion and searching, Ghazali returned to the scholarly world with a renewed perspective. He criticized philosophy, not to reject it entirely, but to reform and align it with the principles of religion. He believed that philosophy, without the foundation of mysticism and faith, is incomplete and even dangerous. His return to the Nizamiya Center of Learning was met with great enthusiasm, but also fierce criticism and opposition. Some philosophers and scholars accused him of rejecting philosophy, while in reality, Ghazali sought to build a bridge between reason and faith. It was during this period that Ghazali published his famous work, The Incoherence of the Philosophers, a book in which he critiques Greek philosophy and emphasizes an Islamic philosophy rooted in faith and divine revelation. This book marked the beginning of a fundamental shift in Islamic philosophy and theology. But what makes this chapter even more compelling is Ghazali's internal struggle with himself and his doubts that perhaps every human experiences on the path to truth. This inner battle transformed him not only into a great philosopher and jurist, but also into a mystic and a complete human being. It has been told that Muhammad al-Ghazali, who was a very famous preacher at the time, once said in a sermon, "O Muslims, I have preached to you for 40 years. And in all that time, everything I have said as advice and counsel can be summarized by my fellow townsman Ferdowsi in these two verses."
Reflect on the passing of time. Make worship of the just your life's design. Do good and never cause harm to anyone. This is the path to salvation, the only one.
The return of Imam Muhammad Ghazali to the scholarly community after years of seclusion marked a new chapter in the history of Islamic thought. He was not just a distinguished philosopher and jurist, but a comprehensive thinker and mystic who blended knowledge, faith, and mystical experience to chart a new path for followers of Islam. But perhaps Ghazali's influence extended beyond the borders of the Islamic world. His works were translated into various languages and studied even in Europe. His emphasis on blending reason and faith, science and mysticism, influenced Christian philosophy and Renaissance thought. Imam Ghazali's character was a prime example of the complete human being, someone who valued not only theoretical knowledge but was also committed to ethics, spirituality, and action. In his writings, he repeatedly stressed the importance of piety, self-purification, and the pursuit of human perfection. At the end of his life, after years of scholarship and teaching, Ghazali once again retreated into seclusion and passed away in the year 505 AH in the city of Tus. But his legacy lived on, in books, in thought, and in the hearts of millions. The life of Imam Muhammad al-Ghazali is a story of an endless quest for truth, an inner struggle between reason and faith, and the attainment of a balance and awareness that has inspired generations ever since. Ghazali's life is a journey from doubt and uncertainty to certainty and enlightenment, from pure rationalism to a deep union between knowledge and faith. He teaches us that truth lies not only in books and philosophies, but also within the heart and our inner experiences. Ghazali proved that the search for truth requires courage, the courage to let go of prejudices and confront one's true self. His legacy remains a guiding light for those who seek meaning, justice, and human perfection. In a world that grows more complex each day, Imam Ghazali's message still feels fresh. Embrace both reason and faith, open your heart, and search for the truth that sets you free. This is the story of a genius whose name became eternal, and whose mind and heart continue to illuminate others forever.